This conference
Welcome,
will now
everybody.
be recorded.
Standing room only here in San Diego. That's the way I like it, right? Good. Well, welcome to week 2 of Bootcamp. So what we're going to do is kind of do a quick review of last week, and then we're going to get into some new stuff. So today I want to talk about product training and some phone training, because pretty darn soon I want you guys on the phone. So I kind of compare this to swimming lessons. Remember 100 years ago, probably for you like 5 years ago, when you're in grade school taking swimming lessons. You know, you start off and you're doing your strokes and stuff, and then at some point you got to put your face in the water and blow some bubbles. Well, same thing with Medicare. So ultimately, the game is you got to learn what you're doing, but then we need to get on the phone and start talking to people. In this business, if you are not talking to somebody about Medicare, you are unemployed. All right. If you are not on the phone talking Medicare to a prospect or your customer, you are unemployed. So in order to stay employed, you need to stay on the phones. You need to be in front of people, and we need to be busy. So let's go ahead and do a quick review. So last week, everybody knows who I am. So the number of baby boomers, you know, this is the baby boomer generation. We are right behind that. Our job is to take care of all these 76 million people that are becoming Medicare eligible, and we can make a fantastic business out of doing it. So we're in a 6 of the 18-year cycle. I'd say 12 to 15 years what we have for this cycle going forward. I think what you do in the next 5 years will set yourself up the rest of your life. So they all need Medicare. So 55 million people are currently on Medicare, and that's going to grow to 79 million, almost 80 million people. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and every time we turn around, all I see is opportunity. Today, October 1, I know I'm dating this recording, but October 1. So today is the start of open enrollment, or today we can start talking to people about what's going on with Medicare, the different plans for 2019, and start getting the information out. We can't really collect applications until the 15th, so we have 2 more weeks for that, but we can definitely get the information out today. So we talk about the opportunity. We've all known about that. Why are you here? Ultimately, there's really 2 commitments you have to have. One is that you're having to be willing to learn the business, but also pay the price. I mean, pay the price is going to take some time, some patience, some study. You can't just roll out and go, hey, I'm into Medicare. Well, there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and a lot of people think it's really great. They get to a certain point and they just go, you know what, too much work. I'm going to quit. So, you know, they're out there. So you want to make your own money. This is run your own business. This is your show to run. I'm just trying to help you, and along the way, we try to assist and hopefully make your journey into Medicare quicker. So everybody wants to eat and few are willing to work. I cannot stress this enough. In this business, you're going to have to be able to go to work. If you're willing to sit down here and put the phone to your ear, we'll find leads for you. We'll help you out. If you're willing to go to the different retail spots where you can put yourself in a position where people can find you, retail is out there. We'll be able to help you. Reason people don't succeed. You know what? It happens all the time. Happened again yesterday. You know, they go along, they're all excited, and then just before we get them licensed, and they go, I decided to change my mind. Whatever. So people often say motivation doesn't last. This is a business. You're going to have to be committed, because every year you got to jump through those hoops again. You got to get recertified for every different carrier. And frankly, it's a pain in the butt. So if you are not into this, go find a different line of work. All right. Medicare is not sales. You're a problem solver. That is probably the biggest difference, is I don't have to sell anything to anybody. They're coming to you because they don't know how this stuff works. And so if you do understand how it works and you can help them, you are solving their problem. And it's not like they got to scratch you a check to make this thing go. This is, you're setting up their insurance. Many of these plans are 0 premium or a low premium. And that's between you and the insurance company. You're just getting them on the right plan for them. All right. We're here to teach you how to build a Medicare marketing system. There's different ways of doing it. Brian MacArthur, who's sitting in the back office there, he has his way of doing it. I have my way. So he does his way, I do mine. His is a little unique where he focuses with financial advisors and I'm more to the public. So I think we're going to go the public route this time. Your plan and reality. Again, we keep coming back to work and commitment. So you have a plan. Well, your plan looks really great on the top. Reality is there's all kinds of pitfalls. And I lose a lot of people at that first hump in the road. Oh my God, this is too much. Well, if it's too much, then you're probably not going to make it to the end anyway. So go find another line of work. A good system shortens the road. So it makes things a little bit easier. We've kind of been there, done it, learned the mistakes, and we still make mistakes. I mean, it happens all the time. So I'm about ready to take a cubicle that I paid $2,400 for 6 months ago. I got nowhere to go with it. I'm about ready to put it in the trash. So anyway, good mistake. Anybody need a cubicle, 4-way cubicle, 6x6, really good price? Give me a call. All right, so tools needed. This was your homework last week. So we talked about what we're going to do coming up. Set up your database, newsletter training. We're going to go product training, phone training today. We're going to go 3 and 4. We got to push this group a little bit because these guys here, they're just super. These guys are all geniuses. So we're going to be able to whip right through this and get right to the phones. And 7 questions you need to ask. We'll touch on that today. Face-to-face training, that'll all come. So computer, everybody's got a computer, all right? So Excel Publisher, a Microsoft Publisher program, we put the newsletters out in Publisher. Not a deal breaker, but makes things a lot easier. We're on the same page. Excel program, I think it's standard in every computer that comes out these days. If you don't have it, isn't it come out with every Excel? I mean, it's just like, comes with it. A rubber office stamp. How many went and got their rubber office stamp from Staples? All right. Going to be helpful because every time you send out a letter, they need to know it's coming from you. So it's all about getting the mail you send out opened. No use going through all this happy stuff, send it out, and then they just think it's trash and throw it out. If they see your shiny little face, your shiny little name on there, they're going to open it. Professional picture. Do not back up against a panel wall and take a selfie. That is not a professional picture. So you are representing yourself, how to do this. And we actually have an in-house professional photographer with the fancy camera and the background and all this happy stuff right here on site. So put your little pretty duds on, come on in, and we'll take a picture of you. All right, and a bio of yourself. So if you can't write a bio, we have a sheet you fill out. It's got some questions and what about this and what about, we'll help you write one. Also have somebody that went to college and she's an English major. How about that? So I paid $1 billion for a college education as an English major. So we will get your bio written if you can't write one for yourself. Anyway, these 6 things, got to get done. Okay, don't talk about it, just do it. Do it. You're going to need it. All right, publisher. Go online, publisher. You can get this thing anywhere from $50, $60 for a publisher program. Microsoft has that now. They're going to this model where you pay so much a month, $3, $4, $5 a month. I don't think you have to pay for it forever and ever. If you can get this stuff at one time, put it on your computer and you got it, publisher just works. They don't change it that much. So I would pay $50, be done with it, and that's it. Don't have to keep paying them. So the Excel program, you should have it. If you don't have it, that's probably something we would have because the Microsoft Office, it comes with Excel and Word, and I don't know if Publisher's in there. Is that in there? Okay. And I haven't bought it for years, so I don't know. The rubber office stamp, Vista print. So as you can see, the size of it's 2 3/4 by 1. So 2 3/4 wide by 1 inch. So that's a pretty good stamp. Usually red ink that pops on an envelope. So put it in red ink. All right. So basically you want to say from the desk of, then your name. All right. Don't put my name, your name. And yeah, if you want contact information on there, probably a phone number, probably a good idea. Put that on there, the envelope, so they have it. And then you can get this thing. Where'd we get this from? Staples. Got it at Staples for like 20 bucks, right? So we're not a whole lot of money into it. That way you don't have to buy your own envelopes. You're just doing 100, 200. It's easy to put your stamp on there and get it out the door. All right, picture yourself. There's wild out hunting in the backwoods of Wyoming right now. And then here's some character in the right. I don't know who that is. Anyway, don't look like the guy in the right. We want to look like him. That's not a good picture. So you want to schedule an appointment with our professional photographer. The price is right. So come on in. We'll get it handled. All right. All right. This is all review from last week. Everybody's got this. Leads, you know what? Newsletters, current price. We're doing this a little bit different this time in that we're going to put this out free of charge. And I recommend that you get your own leads or purchase the leads that we have. It helps. It makes that cycle a little bit easier to get people to talk to. And as you can hear in our background, we've got these guys hitting the phones already, talking to people. We've got lots of leads that people want to hear from us. All right. So Bootcamp, data is everything. Again, reviewing from last week. So your data, your prospects, everybody comes into one of three categories. They're either a customer, a prospect, or they're a lead. All right. Customers, we all know what a customer is. Sign them up, you did business with them, they are a customer. Your prospect is somebody that, for whatever reason, we've talked to them, they're a prospect and somebody business down the road, they just haven't done business yet. And a lead is nothing more than a name. It's just a name in a phone book. You haven't had a relationship with them, you haven't talked to them, you haven't bumped into them. So basically, to upgrade from a lead to a prospect is somebody that for some reason, John Tovey walked by and you said, John, what's up? And John says, you know what, I'm turning 65 in a couple months, I could use your help. And you say, absolutely, give me your contact information. Well, guess what he just became? My new best friend. My new best friend is called a prospect. When he goes on my prospect list, I got a name and I got an address and I got a phone number and I got a time I'm going to follow up with him because there's a possibility we're going to do business down the road. We just haven't yet. It's prospect. So prospects is, I like to say, they like to don't come off your list. Prospects stay on, and we want to convert them into customers. I like to say buy or die, but that's kind of morbid, isn't it? Is that kind of morbid, I say? So, okay, I won't say that again. All right. So this is what your customers see. And it's just like the same thing right behind us here. They're looking at this stuff and they're going, oh my God, what is this mess I'm supposed to understand? So they look at it and it's complicated, and it's confusing, and it's this and it's that. And ultimately, you know what? It's not that hard. It really isn't. I mean, Medicare just comes down to a couple different parts. And if you understand how the parts work, the rest of it all kind of falls into place by itself. So anyway, in our business as an agent, you're going to want to have this funnel idea because it takes so many leads to convert to so many prospects that will ultimately lead to so many customers. So really, if you get to the end of the day and he said, I want to have 100 customers at the end of the year, well, then you got a backward plan. So to get 100 customers, I'm probably going to need 1,000 prospects, and to find 1,000 prospects, I'm probably going to need to have 10,000 leads. So how big is your funnel? How big do you want to go? There's plenty of people out there. We know who they are. I get lists all the time of everybody that's turning 65 in a particular geographical area. I can pick any month, year, last name, first name, alphabetical, whatever you want. I mean, they've got them down there. You get that list, you start prospecting and mailing to them, or using your marketing skills and convert them from leads to prospects and ultimately into customers. So a CRM system, that is something you're going to need. Right now we're building your database using your Excel spreadsheets, which we're ultimately going to dump this into a CRM system. So a CRM system is simply a program that we have that you can put all your customers, prospects, and leads into, and it keeps all your data straight. If I can't stress this enough, data is everything. You got to know who your people are. You got to know who you're talking to, and you got to follow up with them. So when they say, I'm going to call you next Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, guess what? Come next Friday, you're not going to remember because you've talked to 100 people since then. And you got 100 different conversations, and you're not going to remember. So if you don't put this data in the system, you are going to miss that call. And guess what? You talked to 100 people. That guy talked to one. He talked to you. He's waiting for that phone call because you set that appointment. You screwed it up. You blew it off. He sat by the phone and got nothing. And guess what he's going to do? The next person that comes along, he's going to go with them because you let him down. So CRM system, got to stay on top of it. And it should be part of your life. It should be glued to your hand. You come in every morning. The first thing you do is boot up your CRM system, see what your plans are for the day, how many calls you need to make, and who's in your system. So again, I bring up Brian because I can see him behind me here. I'm going to spin the camera around and look at Brian. Let me do this, Brian. Hang on, watch this, watch this. We're going to spin Brian. Here he is, see him in there, he's waving. See, he's got that really ugly haircut going on. Yeah, it's poor Brian. Can you hear me? Hi, Brian. So, I don't know, you must got a Flowbee or something. You get flow. So anyway, all right, so the deal is Brian sits on the phone all day, and he's got this program where people call in and they schedule 30 and 45-minute phone conversations. And then he gets on the phone, he sets a phone appointment. So his whole day is planned out. He comes in, he's got all his training for the day, all the stuff all lined up, who the people are, what the situation is. And then he just sits on the phone and just goes appointment to appointment to appointment on the phone, takes little breaks in between, and that's kind of how he builds his business. But he has a unique ability to have financial advisors to say, hey, I've got a customer who needs your help. Here, get onto this website and schedule a phone call with Brian. So they may have scheduled this thing 2 weeks out to be able to get into a chance to talk to him. Brian just goes, whoever, I come in the morning and here's my schedule for the day of people I need to talk to. So, I mean, that's how he does it. That's his unique way of doing it. And that works for him. So the point is, everybody needs to have their own unique way of doing business. I'm going to teach you one. And then what I want you to do is once you get in the door, I want you to make yours what works best for you. All right. But a CRM system is central to this whole thing. Everybody will have a CRM system because you're going to need to keep this stuff straight. Okay. Leads, prospects, customers. We already went through that. Good habits. Good habits. A lot of people have bad habits, lazy habits. You know why? Because it is human nature to take the course of least resistance. Does that make sense? I want to come in and do the least amount of work because that's the easiest thing to do. So, people will do that. It's like flowing with water. Water goes wherever the least path of resistance they can go. And so we have to learn good habits, and we're going to do that. We're going to learn good habits and do them every day. So we're building our database. Did anybody put a database together? Starting on it? Working on it? Okay. So we're building one. We've got one we're building back in Denver, actually. Working on a database there, getting that built. Speaking of Denver, hopefully we've got everybody on mute today. So we don't have people driving down the road in Denver saying terrible, nasty, bad words in the background. So go back there with a bar of soap next time. Anyway. You should explain what happened. No, I'm not explaining what happened. Everybody that's on the call heard it, so we won't be doing that again. Okay, so database, right now with a spreadsheet, it's easy to put your information in this way, and then what we do is we can upload the whole thing nice and easy into a CRM system. So this way you just got your name, first name, address, city, state, zip. At least that gives us the ability to get some mail out to them so that they know that you're out there. And then it's easy for us to take a list of 500, 100, 3,000 people, whatever it is, and then just upload that into a CRM system electronically. So different Medicare information you want to capture, if you have it, is if they're already a customer, you should have a phone number, you should have a Medicare number, date of birth, spouse's information. If you want to put that in a separate column, you can do that. The biggest thing is make sure every column is separate information. So if their birth date is 2/3/1953, put the 2 in one column, so the February and 1, the date of birth is 3, and the year is 1953. Keep it separate. If you put them together, I don't like it together because then it's harder to pull it. So my financial geniuses here think they got it all figured out, but it's harder to pull it. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so I like my way better. All right, so we're going to do, anyway, information capture. Ultimately, when you send me a database, we're going to do a mailing for your newsletter. This is what it looks like. So first name, last name, address, city, state, and zip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 columns, 6 separate columns for mailing. Yeah, so we're putting this together. Husband and wife are in the same, so they don't get 2 letters. Saves them postage. So ultimately, this is what I get. This is typical. Again, this is from Bernie last week or last month. He sends me, hey, I'm going to go on the next vacation, and here's my mailing list, and here's my newsletter. So nice and easy and simple. So what I do is I print out the mailing, the mailing on the left. I print that out on the envelopes. I send out his newsletter to FedEx. I have it printed up. They call me in an hour and say it's done, good to go. Go pick it up, put the 2 together, and out the door it goes. Send him an invoice, easy peasy, right? So he's worried about what his next vacation is. I get his newsletter out for him, and he's got hundreds and hundreds of customers that are happy to, stay up with him every month. So since my fabulous bride writes the newsletter, I think Barb, his fabulous bride, then changes a few things on it. So the point is 90% of it's already done for you. All you have to do is just kind of update it and personalize it for yourself. So Bootcamp, building your newsletter. So again, I think newsletters are the single most efficient way to communicate with your customers. At some point, you can't make 1,000 phone calls, but I can send them a newsletter every month. I can talk to 1,000 people that way. So, and if they need something, they know where to find me, but every month I'm communicating with these guys, right? Stay on top of it. So making a newsletter, again, there's some parts of it that work. There's some parts that have been proven over and over. So we need to make it fun to read. I see newsletters that go out and it's all this writing and all this crap. Nobody's going to read it because it's not fun. It's blah, blah, blah. Medicare, frankly, Medicare blows. All right. It's just boring, boring stuff. The less your newsletter talks about Medicare, the better. All right. So ultimately, you want to talk about your family, some jokes, some things you got going on, some recipes. I think we put a puzzle in this month, right, to solve a puzzle, make it kind of fun. Basically, it's just getting your name in front of that customer every single month. That's really what we're trying to do. All right, so page 1 is whatever the story of the month is. All right, page 2 is your joke page. Find something that you find funny. Lauren Smith thinks everything's funny. So that way, it doesn't matter what we put in because she thinks it's good to go. All right, page 3 is kind of a catch-all. So like I said last week, this story we had on the bottom was I had some solar panels going in my house. Told these guys if I'd run a story on it, if they'd knock $2,000 off my panels. They did, so I ran the story. And they picked up a couple of customers. They were happy, I was happy, and the whole worked. Cost me nothing to get this thing out. And it actually worked out pretty good. So this summer, when it was like super hot, we ran our air conditioner 24/7 and loved it. It was great. So anyway, didn't worry about a thing. Page 4, referrals on the very top. You want to thank your people for sending you referrals. Nothing easier than have referrals coming in the door where you have your folks, your customers, bird dogging for you and finding customers for you. What a great, easy way to continue to build a business. The number's about 300 to 400. So 300 to 400 customers. At a certain point, 300-400, the book feeds itself. Just from the people that are coming every month for the referrals, you have people that pass away or move. You might have 3 or 4 that move and 3 or 4 referrals coming in, and ultimately it just keeps the book, so self-sustaining at that point. The number is about 300 to 400. Personal notes. That's the last part is personal notes. There's 2 things these people read. They read your personal notes and they read the jokes. Everything else is kind of relevant. They want to see their name in if they did a referral for you. They want to see their birth dates in. Everything else you have is just kind of added filler. All right. Okay, printing a newsletter. So we've got these printers that there's printers out there that'll just chew you up when it comes to ink. I mean, they will just they'll sell you the printer for low cheap, and then the ink and the toner and all that's just ridiculously expensive. So I found a printer that will, it's nice and small, compact. It uses liquid ink that's dirt cheap, and you can print two-sided color for less than a penny a page. So it's the Epson EcoTank 4750. I think it's on sale 39, about 400 bucks. Mark McWhinney's got lots of money, so he said he would contribute each and every time you bought a printer. Mark will kick in $100, so it's going to help out. All right. Okay. So next, printing newsletters. Either print them on your newsletter or your new printer you got, or send them over to FedEx. We can get a discount on that. We'll kind of go through this to show you how to do it. If you get to that point, give us a call. There's different ways we're doing it. Basically, go to FedEx Printing. Go to your multi-page, multi-sheet page, drag over your PDF of your newsletter. Got it. So there was an email that went out last week. If you didn't get it or you need to see it, how many people got online? Okay, so if you need, from last week, you need to get the newsletter or how we put this thing out. There's instructions how to do it. It's pretty slick. I'll show you the slick part. So the slick part is you put all this stuff in, it comes back and it says, okay, for 200 newsletters, so it's 2 pages, front and back, so actually 4. And for this, two-sided was going to be 96 bucks for 200, right? So we put a little special code in. It says on here, do you have a FedEx account? So you put that account number in, 048-3500-327, right? So you put that in and hit add, and it'll come back and see where that $96, look what happens next. Comes down to 24 bucks. So your $96 order just dropped down to $24. They do all the work. They do all the printing. Frankly, you can do this anywhere in the country. So if you're sitting back in Timbuktu, Tennessee, or you're back in New York City, right? New York City, and you want me to knock this thing out, we can do it. Just send it to FedEx and have them print it. We got 2 offices. I've got one in Poway, P-O-W-A. Poway, California is a FedEx office. The other one is on Rancho Bernardo Road in San Diego, 92128. So send to either one of those places. They're all both about 4 miles from here. And they give me an email that says your printing's all done. I go and I pick it up, run it through the machines, and out she goes. Okay. Okay. Rules for newsletters. Do not staple them. All right. It doesn't help me. So if you have 2 pieces of paper, I've got 2 different trays. I got tray 1, tray 2. We put it in, it runs it through the machine, folds stuff, slicks it, out the door it goes. If you staple it, I have to find a way to unstaple it. All right, 2 pieces of paper. Do not use envelopes with pull tabs. Do not collate. Real simple. Just pile 1, pile 2, give it to me. We take it from there. All right. So personalize your envelopes. That's that sticker, that stamper I'm telling you about. You take your envelope, you stamp your name on the outside, out the door it goes. So when these people receive this, they see that it's coming from you. Because they'll look at it and go, oh, junk mail. Junk, 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 junk. So at the end of the day is we don't want junk mail. We want this thing getting open. We're going to do all this work. Obviously, it gets to the consumer. You want them to open and read it. Homework. So your homework was build your database, get your stamp made, create your newsletter. How many people did their homework? 1. We got 1. Oh, 2. How many did you build? What did you do?
Well, I had our IT guy make me a list.
Oh, good.
And a newsletter.
Yeah, good. That's always good. It's always better when somebody else does your work for you. Love it. Okay, so we're kind of cut up from last week, so we're going to, where are we at for time? Oh, good. So I just burned a half hour. All right, so now we're going to. All right, so Kim wants you to know that for people, what does this say? She's writing notes. As I go along, I have to read you notes as we do this. So I will stop and read the note. Mention to send emails for watching online so we can add them to Bootcamp roster so they get all their emailed info and items sent to them. There, that's my public service announcement. Okay, we're good. So email in if you're online so we can send the stuff back up. Got it. Oh, okay, good. All right. We actually have a spreadsheet of everybody that gets online. Okay, I do. Okay, so product training. Okay, you know what? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go get some of the Clarity books. Give me some Clarity books. I got one to get for the room here. So Clarity books. So these are the 2018, the 19s are coming since this is October 1st. We'll be able to get these out. But I want you to get very familiar with this Clarity book, all right? So this Clarity book, real simple, is it's kind of your workbook with your customer. Every single time you sit down with your customer, this is the first thing you're going to whip out of your bag. Well, first of all, maybe your business card. Pull your business card out. Second thing, is going to pull this Clarity book out. We're going to go through it. All right. So Clarity book. First page is time frame that we're able to do this business. So here's your Clarity book. So time frames of what we're doing. So there's different timelines here in the first page in here. So your first line is the green line, which is our open enrollment period. That's kind of what we're in right now. So open enrollment technically runs from October 15 till December 7th. Well, technically means that you can actually take an application and change that person. So the open enrollment period is kind of the wild, wild west when it comes to Medicare. They can upgrade, downgrade, change, move, whatever they want to do during open enrollment. So during open enrollment, there's actually a window of time we can put the information out. We just cannot collect that application. That's the next 2 weeks that we're in right now. So October 1, we can start talking about 2019, put the information out. We cannot collect the application until the 15th, right? The next thing over is your disenrollment period that has ended. It's gone now. So now that's actually old. We're moving into open enrollment. But the one to the right of that is one I really want to catch on. So what the question is, what do you do when it's not open enrollment? Well, that's where everybody else comes in. It's called special enrollment. So special enrollment is for somebody that's maybe turning 65 in June. Are they supposed to wait until open enrollment to be able to enroll? I mean, they're turning 65 in June. No, they have a special reason, a special enrollment that they get in for when they're turning 65. How about somebody that's covered under group insurance and they're going to continue working for a couple of years? You know, like 40% of the people do that. They turn 65 and they go, you know what? I think I'm going to keep working for a couple more years because my wife's only 63, and so we'll wait till she gets to be 65 also. So does that mean that he has to sign up for Medicare? No. So as long as he's covered under his group insurance plan and that plan has more than 20 employees, he can continue on his group insurance and defer signing up on his Medicare until he's ready to retire and come off his group insurance. Once he does that, he has a special enrollment. So this special enrollment then allows him then to go ahead and get on that plan at that time. So special enrollment, open enrollment, two very important times that you're going to want to know about. Okay, so we're going to flip the page over and we're going to go to the next one. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the single most important page probably that you're going to need to know in Medicare. This is it. This is what I call the $1 million page. This is it. We're going to spend some time on it because it's so important. It's very simple, but you know what? Whoever genius that put this thing together, it kind of broke Medicare down into a very simple format. All this husband and wife behind me, all this, oh my God, what do I do? It's all explained on this page right here. Real simple. So you need to be able to explain Medicare in 10 seconds or less. Keep it simple. Two parts to Medicare, Part A and Part B. A is for the hospital and B is for the doctors. Medicare covers 80% of the bill. What you and I are going to talk about is the other 20%. How long was that? 10 seconds, right? That's it. That's Medicare, right? Medicare was set up back in 1965. But even before then, they talked about it for 20 years before that. So back to Harry Truman. Harry Truman back in 1945 proposed a Medicare plan for the seniors in this country. And he actually took it to Senate and the House, and they argued about it. They couldn't come to agreement. Ended up losing, getting out of office, not getting it done. Sounds familiar, right? They argue and they can't agree on anything. So it wasn't until 20 years later, Lyndon Johnson was in power, and after the terrible tragedy of the Kennedy assassination in '63, Johnson was then reelected in a landslide victory in '64. And because he had the country behind him, and the Senate and the House was trying to come together to rally behind our new president after this tragedy that they had, they actually agreed on some things. And so one of the things they agreed on was civil rights for all the seniors in this country and medical care for the seniors, which became known as Medicare. So on July 30, 1965, they signed Medicare into law. You want to grab me that picture up front? So July 30 at Independence, Missouri, which happens to be the home of the Truman Library, Medicare was signed into law. So as a tribute to Harry Truman, Lyndon Johnson had the Medicare signed at his library, and Harry Truman actually became the first Medicare recipient in this country. So we actually have a picture of it. I'm going to show that picture here. So Mark McWhinney, Mr. Stud, gave me this picture, which is kind of cool because it shows Lyndon Johnson signing Medicare into law. There's Harry Truman at the time. He was 82 years old. There's his wife, Bess. So Harry got the first Medicare card in this country, and his wife, Bess, she got the second one. Right? So that was 1965, July 30. So anyway, it's kind of an important time in our country, but that's been 53 years ago, coming up on 53 in July of this next year. This last year, 53 years ago. And although Medicare has done some changes, basically back in 1965, it was the very same. There was Part A and Part B. A is for the hospital, B is for the doctors. A was free as long as you worked 10 years in this country, and Part B was something you paid for. Back in 1965, it was $6 a month. So today, Medicare Part B is, who can give me the number? $134 a month. So that's your basic plan, $134. If you are considered rich and famous, you'll pay more than that. So the break number is $170,000 for a couple. If you make more than $170,000 as a couple, you'll pay more for your Part B premium, and it's $85 for an individual. And the kicker is they look back 2 years. So we're in 2018, they're gonna look at 2016 income. It's your modified adjusted gross income. So that's the part that they look at. So that's Part A and Part B. Medicare basically covers 80%. What you and I do as agents is we help our customers with the remaining 20%, because that 20% is unlimited risk. So let's say you went to the hospital, got in a terrible car accident, maybe you got cancer, right? You got cancer, chemo, radiation, and stuff's not cheap. You could run up a $500,000 bill in the blink of an eye, and at 20%, there's $100 grand out of your pocket. So I don't know anybody that's can just write a check for $100 grand and not have it hurt, you know? So having that 20% is still very important. Back in '65, the prices weren't such. Now in 2018, medical prices will it'll chew you up. So very critical. You got to understand this next part. If you understand nothing else, you got to understand this next part. There's two different ways of covering that 20%. Option one, option two. Two separate animals doing two separate things. Option one leaves Medicare as primary insurance. So under option one, I want you to write Medicare, right? Medicare is primary insurance. Medicare, primary. Under option one, Medicare is primary insurance. Because Medicare is a nationwide program, you can go to any doctor, any specialist, any hospital, anywhere in the country, anywhere you want to go, because Medicare pays first. They pay their 80%, and then they shove it over to the supplement plan. They pay the other 20%. Because Medicare is primary insurance, you can go to any doctor, any specialist, anywhere in the country. When you go this direction, your Part D, D for drugs, your Part D for drugs is a separate plan. So you could have one supplement plan with, say, United Healthcare and have your drug plan with Humana. Perfectly fine. Two separate deals. Medicare's primary insurance, and your supplement picks up the difference. Supplements run anywhere from, I've seen a Plan F, San Diego, run from 124, and every time you get a little bit happy birthday, it goes higher from there. If you're from the fine state of Minnesota, it's a little bit different. Everybody's kind of the same price, so it's just one bulk price for everybody, so a little different there. Anyway, most other places, it's all age rated, so the 65 years old, you're going to have the lower rate. As you get older, the rates go higher. Okay, that's option one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Option one, Medicare's primary insurance. Whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, supplement plan then picks up, right? The difference with option two is, option two, Medicare is no longer primary insurance. The insurance company is primary insurance. And option two, the insurance company runs the show, whether it's United, whether it's Humana, Kaiser, right? Aetna, who am I missing? Blue Cross, Blue Shield, all those guys, right? They're running the show on option two. So the insurance company is getting paid by Medicare, whether you go to the doctor or not. So that's where that's the part C. Remember the A and B for Medicare? Well, the C comes in, that's where C is. I like to say C for combined. It combines your A, B, C, and D all in a package. It's like going to McDonald's and getting a number 3. You get your burger, your fries, and your drink all included, right? Your C for combined. So there's only 4 parts to Medicare, A, B, C, and D. A is for hospital, B is for doctor, C is for combined, and D for drugs. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Nice and easy, right? So C plan for combined. It's your HMO, your PPOs, right? So you have a primary doctor, and that primary doctor has a network of specialists to choose from. Your HMOs is you have a primary doctor, and you have the network you have to work within. And if you go to anybody outside the network, it's 100% on you. The difference between a PPO, preferred provider, is you have in-network and you have out-of-network. So your in-network doctors, you have your co-pays you're responsible for, and your out-of-network, you pay 40% of the cost of that out-of-network doctor, and it generally has a max out-of-pocket about $10,000. So PPO versus HMO, but they all run under option 2, which is a C plan. Your job is to sit down with the customer and say, are you option 1 or are you option 2? Do you want to be able to go to any doctor, any specialist, any hospital, anywhere in the country, or do you want to try to save some money and keep a kind of a simple package deal where you can kind of go with one card, go under one roof, and keep everybody all aligned? So many times people said, you know what, all my doctors are at Scripps, all my doctors are at Allina, all my doctors are at Mayo, right? So I'm not going to go anywhere else anyway. So yeah, that'd be fine. I could work with that. So many of these option 2 plans start at a 0 premium cost. I mean, it costs nothing for you monthly to have this plan. And all you have to do is you're responsible for your co-pays when you actually go see your doctor. Maybe it's a $10 to the doctor or $20 to a specialist. Maybe you're up in Orange County where Tamar Alley is, right? They got great plans up there. They're like 0, 0, 0, 0, top to bottom. Well, that's all real great, but they have to stay within that network, right? Primary doctor and specialist got to stay within that network. If you can do that, the price is right. So, well, how can you do an option 2? It must be something fishy. Something's going wrong. How can you have a plan like this, a Medicare plan, and pay nothing for that? There must be something fishy, right? Something's going on there. What happens is this. Here's the difference. Option 1, we're kind of review again. Who's primary insurance? Medicare. So because Medicare is primary insurance, Medicare is on the hook for 80% of your cost. So because you can go anywhere in the nation, the 20%, excuse me, your supplement plan will pick up. Difference with option 2 is Medicare actually sends a check to your insurance carrier, United, Humana, Kaiser, whoever that is. They send a check to them and take care of, pay that insurance company whether you go to the doctor or not. That check's about $800 a month per person per month. So think about that. So that Medicare company, United Healthcare, Humana, Kaiser, all those guys, for every customer that you sign up, they make about $9,600 a year gets paid by Medicare to the insurance company. So you go twice to the doctor to get your physical and got a sore throat, that insurance company made a bundle on you because they're getting $9,600 a year. But what happens is, what if you go in and have an open heart bypass surgery, you have cancer and run up a $500,000 bill? Can that insurance company go back to Medicare and go, hey, wait a minute, Bob over here ran up a $500,000 bill, we need more money? So no. So what happens is they've got a set amount of money that's come in the door, and it's up to their job to manage that company. So they make money in some customers, they lose money in the other, and it's a business. And that's how it works. So it really depends on if you can work within the network. Your option 2 is terrific. If you don't, you got doctors all over the place, then option 1 gives you the flexibility of being able to go wherever you want to go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your $1 million page. If you don't have this down, keep practicing, because this is it. If you can explain this to your customer, you are 90% home. Your job is real simple. Or Mr. and Mrs. Customer, are you option 1? Are you option 2? That's it. That's what you do. So if you can get those answered, the guy comes back and says, I don't want an HMO. I'm able to go any doctor I want to go to, put a cross through that, good to go. Now it's just a matter of which supplement plan do you want. All right. So let's go ahead and let's move on with it, because I think we're going to focus on supplement plans. How ironic that comes up. So this little box right here. So let's go back. So this option 1 supplement plan is, we're going to focus just on supplement plans. That little one right there. All we're going to talk about is that supplement plan. So I hear this all the time. They come back and they go, I don't want HMO. I want a supplement. Frankly, for those that have the money, they've worked their whole life, they want good health care. I don't want to have to decide who my doctor, I want to be able to go to any doctor. They earned it, right? So boom, we're going to write a supplement plan, end of deal. So with that is, we have to understand what kind of supplement plans, because what happens is your supplement booklet, we're going to focus on United Healthcare today because it's simple, is in your book, is you're going to open it up and there's different kinds of plans. Holy cow, now I'm back to, I got A and B and C and D and G and B and all the letters. I got the whole alphabet here. What am I supposed to do now? Well, we're going to boil it again down. So we're going to boil it down to 3. You got 3 choices, 1 of 3. So it's pretty simple. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our supplement plan booklet. We're going to take a look at this, and we're going to focus on 3. So get your booklets open. We're going to go to page, what did you say, 7? Yep, 7. So it's going to page looks like this. It's on the screen. And I got those little yellow arrows, circles on the top. So the first one, I got Plan F. Got Plan F, Plan G, and Plan N. All right. Looks kind of complicated. Yeah, well, it's really not. Okay. So Plan F, Plan G, Plan N. All right. So the first one is Plan F. I want you to know is it's Plan Fabulous, right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to tell your customers, this is Plan Fabulous. Plan Fabulous, whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, Plan Fabulous picks up. Plan F, right? It's the most expensive, it's the most complete, it's the most common. Everybody knows Plan F. So F is fabulous. So whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, Plan Fabulous picks up. Not going to beat that. So somebody comes to me and says, I want the best. Boom, right here. Plan Fabulous. That's the best. And we start with a fabulous plan because you know what? You've been working your whole life. You deserve fabulous coverage. So whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, you can go to any doctor or any specialist, any hospital, anywhere in the country, whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, Plan Fabulous picks up. So remember, it has to be a Medicare covered expense. So you can't go, hey, I want liposuction, right? And then go and Medicare goes, well, we don't cover that. And then you go, oh, I'm sure my supplement plan will cover it. No, it's got to be lockstep. So Medicare has to cover it for your supplement plan is going to cover the balance. So it has to be lockstep. So you can't go just make the stuff up on your own. So Plan Fabulous. All right. So the next one, remember there's only 3. The next one is is the G plan. G for great. It's a great plan. G for great. All right. So what does G doesn't have? Because it's a little bit less money than the fabulous plan. So is it a step down? Yeah, okay. So what happens is the only difference is if you see that little X on the screen there. So plan G doesn't cover the Part B deductible of $183. So you go, let's do the math. You go to your doctor, you see your primary doctor, and it's $100. All right, it's $100. So your Medicare plan pays how many? What's the percentage? 80%, right? So the $100, Medicare pays 80%. So you get a bill for $20. So your $20 applies toward your $183 deductible. So once you're out of pocket $183, then it acts like a fabulous plan the rest of the year. So with that, a simple 183 deductible. So let's assume for a minute that, let's say a F plan's $150 a month. A plan G is probably going to be around $130 a month, about $20 a month less. So it's a little bit less per month. Same coverage, simple mathematics at this point. All right. So that's your difference between your fabulous and your great plan. So they can always have great plan. And we're probably going to have to get more comfortable with it. I'll cover that in a little bit, but you're going to need to understand how a G plan works, a great plan, right? Next one is your N plan, a nice plan, N for nice. We have our fabulous plan, we have a great plan, we have a nice plan, right? So our nice plan has two caveats to it, two X's, not one. So it has the same as a G plan, has a $183 deductible, right? And every time you go to the doctor, it's $20. So I'm going to go see my primary doctor, $20. I think I'll go see my specialist, $20. How about chiropractor? $20. Is chiropractor covered under this plan? The answer is yes, as long as your chiropractor accepts Medicare. If your chiropractor accepts Medicare, then this is covered, right? So it's all about the chiropractor, all about the doctors, and I'd say 99% accept Medicare, not chiropractors, but actual physician doctors. You might find some hoity-toity La Jolla doctor that says, I only take cash. So it happens once in a while, but not very often. So the nice plan difference is $183 deductible and $20 copay each time you go to the doctor. All right. So just think about it. Every time I leave the house, it's going to be $20. So it keeps you covered. So that way, if again, fabulous plan was $150, great plan would be about $130, and your nice plan would be about $100 in that same example. So less money. Question? Got it. So those things are just noise. So they're so similar in flavor of what the other ones do. I just boil it down so you get A, B, or C. F, G, or N. You know, you can get all wrapped up on all this other stuff. Frankly, I've been doing this for 10 years and a couple thousand apps, and I've never had to go outside of F, G, or N because one of the three cover. And the beautiful part about this is United Healthcare, the AARP, as long as you're an AARP member, you can switch among the plans 12 times a year, every month. So that's kind of a nice selling point, because what happens is, let's say we start off on plan N, and all of a sudden that knee has been just, oh man, that knee, I can't take it anymore. I have to go in and get that knee surgery. How about your Tracy Brown or your Kathy Wilkerson, right? You got that new hip you got to have. Well, that hip, you've been getting around on that hip for a while. It isn't like you just woke up and go, hey, I got a hip problem. No, it's been coming for a while. You finally just go, enough, I just can't do it. So what you can do is make a phone call and go from plan N and go up to plan F and pay a little bit more per month. But what happens is now you can go get to the doctor, your specialist, have your surgery, physical therapy, that's the big one. And then when you're all back playing tennis again, you can go back down to plan N again with a simple phone call. Because no medical questions, no questions asked. Yep. So it's kind of a nice feature to have. Now, in that regard, what happens is, let's say we stayed on plan N, the nice plan. Gesundheit. So let's say we stayed on plan N. Well, we went to the primary doctor's $20. All right, we saw our specialist, another $20. We had our hospital stay, it's 100% paid for because that comes under A, right? 100% paid for. The B, say you charge you $20 to go to the doctor, no big deal. It's the physical therapy afterwards. That's where it starts adding up. Because you got that hip surgery, that knee surgery, they want you to come to physical therapy 3 times a week for the next 6 weeks. Well, it's $20, $20, $20 every time you go out the door, right? So in that regard, that $20, there's only about a $50 a month difference between the F and the N. Why not just step up the F, pay the extra $50 and do all the physical therapy and everything you got to do, get it all knocked out, then go back down to plan N again for going forward from there. So anyway, it's a nice feature. Customers love that part of it. Rare that I find any other Medicare supplement plans that give you the flexibility. Question.
Can you move from plan to plan at any point, or is there a special like period where you can move from plan N to that?
So the question is there a special period to move plans? And the United Healthcare plan, AARP, as long as you're an AARP member, you can choose any month of the year and change plans. Upgrade, downgrade, change. And other plans I call Blue Shield, Humana's, those kind of supplements out there. There's only certain times you can change plans. And a lot of times they let you go down, but they don't let you go up. So you can go from F to an N, but you can't go from N back up to an F. And you can,
There's a certain period that you can go back
certain
on?
periods,
Okay.
yeah. But on the United Healthcare AARP plan, this book right here, all right, you see it advertised all the time on TV. It's #1 in California, and #1 for reason nationwide, because they give you the most flexibility to be able to move their plans. Again, I've probably written 400 or 500 of these plans. I've used that as a selling feature. Few people have taken advantage of it, but mostly they just like the option of being there if they needed it. And they'd pay a few bucks more per month. So let's say this is $150 and somebody else is $145. They'd pay the $150 just so they'd have this offer, this option out there. So it's a nice one to have. So
to make that change, they just call in.
yep. So the back of their supplement card, there's a customer service number. They call that number up and just say, hey, I want to go from an F to an N starting first of next month, and away you go. So easy to do. All right. So that's the questions between fabulous plan, a great plan, and a nice plan. All right. Any questions? Yes, sir.
F, I guess, is going away in 2020.
Oh, let's talk about that. That's good. Bring that up. So the question is, as we heard that F is going away, what happens then? So here's what happens. So everybody that is turning 65 prior to January 1, 2020. So everybody that's got an A or B start date prior to January 1, 2020 can stay on their F plan. All right, they can keep it. So they are eligible to stay on F for never, 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 never. It's those people that are turning 65 with a 1/1/2020 effective date or later, then the F plan will be available to them. And so here's why. F plan is too fabulous. It's too good because people pay it and they go, hey, I don't have any costs. I can just go see my doctor anytime. And they're kind of plugging up the doctor's offices because they got nothing else to do. You know, they're going to see their doctor because they're lonely, right? So, I mean, so ultimately they changed it so that all plans, you got to have some skin in the game. You have to have a deductible. So the first line is at $183 of the G plan. So that's where that's coming out. So after 2020, there'll be a change. So basically your G plan will be your top of the line. Give me the best, G plan will be your best. So I think what'll happen is, and there's some debate out there, that the F plan after 2020, it'll kind of chase people out after a period of time, because since there's no new people that can come into the plan, the only ones that'll be able to stay in the F plan get older and sicker and more expensive to cover. And so the premiums of that, I think, are just going to go boom, 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 boom. So after a couple of years, I think the F plan is just going to be extremely expensive. You may have a G plan for $150, an F plan for $350. You go, man, I don't want to pay that. That's a lot of money per month. Well, ultimately what happens, they won't take it away from the folks they're grandfathered in, they'll price it away from. At some point, they'll just squeeze them out because the price is getting too expensive. But that'll probably be several years down the road. So for this time being, F plan is going to stay at F plan. It's still fabulous. So for somebody that's coming in and they're turning on their Medicare now and they can afford it, go fabulous, because why not? You earned it, right? So that's it. Let's go forward. So any questions on fabulous, great, and nice? That's option one. It's the top little bar here, the first box, right, is your supplement. Make sure you have that down. 2019 books actually are online as of today. Everything's been ordered. We do have some things in the door. I have seen sub-plans. Yeah, so sub-plans are a little bit different, is you don't need 2019 because on the front of the book, it actually tells you what the good dates are on your supplement plan. It actually right on top. And it says this one is good through December 2018. So you can write that right on through. Now, they just came out with a rate increase that doesn't go into effect until April of 2019. So these books will be good until 2019. So you can still write it till then. And by that time, they'll have new books coming out. Also, for those customers that you write on a supplement plan, let's say for open enrollment with a 1/1 effective date, trivia question. If you put somebody in that plan, do they have a price guarantee? Yes. So they're guaranteed their price for 1 year. So for, even though everybody else that's on a supplement plan, their price will go up as of April of 2019, your customer will get their price guaranteed through the entire year of 2019. They have a 12-month price guarantee for coming in. And I think the price is going up, I don't know, 3, 4, 5%, something like that. 2.7. Okay. I saw some numbers across the board on that. So,
I have a question on that.
Yes, sir.
There's area 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then there's a difference on what percentage was going to go up.
uh-huh.
What San Diego might be, what area?
Yeah. So in this, we're area 2. Yep. So it's all by zip code. So if you can see the area 1, area 2, right? And then you got the different pages to your book up. Can you get a water for me, please? Thank you. So you got the booklet here. So we're on area 2. So the first page is non-smoking. Flip it over. The second page is smoking. And the third is under 65 rates, under 65. So somebody that's 55 and they're on disability. All right, so we're right back to area 2. So area 2, page 1. So this is page 2-18. It says right at the top, right here. See this says right here, area 2, right there. Got it. You got area 2. Okay, so take that page, and then we're just going to flip it over. So the back side of that very same page. Nope, too far. Area 2. Okay, just the back side of area 2 is the smoker page, smoker rates. And then if you just look across right here, right here, smoker rates are on the left, and on the right is under 65 rates. So if somebody comes in and they're on full disability for at least 24 consecutive months, they're eligible for Medicare, they want a supplement plan, they can get it. Now, here in California, you're eligible for an A, B, C, or F, or K, a K plan. So typically your F plan, look at that, it's $306 a month. Under 65, $306. And I don't believe it's commissionable. I don't think they pay you for it. So don't be out soliciting a lot of it. But you'll come across this from time to time where somebody's like, under 65, they need supplement insurance. They're willing to pay whatever. $300 is actually a steal for them. All right. So that is how a supplement plan works. Okay. So let's talk about this. The option 2 is a little bit different. I kind of thought about this, of how we want to do this, because option 2 is based off of the county that you live in. Every county is a little bit different. It's different in San Diego County than it is in Orange County, than it is in Imperial County, than it is in Ada County in Idaho, right? Everybody's plans are a little bit different. It's all based off of your particular county amount of people that live in that county and what the reimbursement rates are that Medicare pays for. So reimbursement rates for the doctors in Orange County is much higher than it is in San Diego. So we have higher copays here because frankly, our plans don't receive as much money as plans do up in Orange County. So with this is we're going to kind of touch on San Diego. I know we've got a group online today that are scattered all over the place. So what we're going to do is you'll have your own individual HMO plans there, but they're kind of similar, but everybody's a little bit different. But at least if you can read a spreadsheet, you can kind of tell it's all kind of similar in nature that way. So understand that option 2, who's primary insurance with option 2? The insurance company, not Medicare. Medicare is no longer in charge. So your insurance company is in charge. Mission critically important to understand that, because when that customer can't just go to any doctor, any specialist, any hospital, they have to go to the doctor that's within the network. They have a primary doctor. That primary doctor has that network of choosing from. You have to go to that primary doctor to get a referral to go see a specialist in most cases, right? There's some times that you can just go to your specialist directly if you're in a PPO type plan, but most HMOs, your primary doctor is your gatekeeper, all right? So with that, here's some of the benefits that we see. And on your left-hand side, you'll see that here in San Diego on the SHARP plan, this United Healthcare SHARP plan. And on the SHARP plan is they have primary doctors at everybody that's co-branded with SHARP. So here they have SHARP Steely, SHARP Graybill, SHARP Community, and Arch Health Partners also that's part of SHARP Community Medical Group, all right? So with that is you simply have, as you see at the very top, this is a 0 premium plan. Your monthly plan premium is 0. So you still have to pay for your Part B as in boy premium. You still have to pay for your part of Medicare. You have to be part of the system. And that part of the system, $134 a month, comes out of Social Security check automatically every month. So that part you always have to pay for the rest of your life. Still got to be part of Medicare. And then the remaining 20%, right? So in this regard, no extra cost to have this kind of plan. Think of this kind of plan as pay as you go. Pay as you go, all right? So if you don't go, this thing costs you nothing. Once you go see your primary doctor, you may pay a $10 copay. And as you can see, first line down, doctor visit is a $10 copay in this situation, $10. They send you a specialist, you pay $35 copay, and you need to have the primary doctor make the referral for you. So doc, I got a pain here. And he goes, well, that's a little bit beyond me. I'm going to send you over to the specialty doctor because they specialize on that. And, you know, we'll see him next week and you go pay your $35 and you're in the door. So preventative services, usually no charge. Your biggest copays typically with these kind of plans is your hospitalization, right? So hospitalization is probably your biggest copay. That's the thing you want to look at completely, because in this case, $260 a day, $260 a day, day 1 through 7, right? Day 8, 9, 10, all that's 0 after that. So let's assume that you were in a terrible car accident, right? And the terrible car accident put you in the hospital for 30 days. So if you get out of there, you say, how much is it going to cost me? Well, 260 times 7 is about $1,820. So that whole thing costs you $1,820. Even if you ran up $1 million bill, right? Your cost be $1,820. All right, so typically what happens is more of the short-term variety, knees and hips and that kind of thing. You're in the hospital 2-3 days. Generally knees are 2 days and hips are about 3 days. You have any knees, hips, anything done? You 100%? You? Irv, you're good? You got all your original parts? Yeah, 100%, oh good. All right, so yeah, so typically you go in for a couple of days. So a typical knee surgery is 260 times 2 days, so $520 and you're out the door, right? So generally, if you get your knees and hips done, you're not ready to go home yet, so they send you to a skilled nursing facility. Everybody see that, skilled nursing? They call them SNF. So you're going to a SNF, SNF, skilled nursing facility, short for SNF, right? So SNF on this one is first 20 days, no charge. So first 20 days, no charge. But I got to tell you, and really what happens is you're not in there 20 days. These insurance companies are chasing you out after 5, 6, 7 days. They want you out the door because this stuff's expensive. So we generally got to fight with the insurance companies, stay into a SNF program for 20 days. But if they get you to stay 20 days, and if you're really in bad shape, you have to, because look what happens next. If you look at the next line down, it's $155 a day, day 21 to 42. Holy cow, it gets really expensive, 21 to 42. But why does it stop? Why does it stop at day 42? I mean, what happens? What's special about day 42 that now you don't have to pay anymore? Because if you go to day 43 to day 100, it goes back to zero again. So what happens there? What is special about day 42? Holy cow. Sounds like you've almost heard this before. Your out-of-pocket maximum is now been met, because if you take those numbered days times 155, if you look at the bottom down here, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see your max out-of-pocket on this plan is $3,400. And so on this plan, if all these copays add up, so your primary, your specialist, your hospital, your skilled nursing, your copays for chemo, radiation, all that stuff adds up to $3,400 in a year's time. You don't pay another nickel of copay the rest of the year. So that's your floor. That's the maximum amount of money that's going to come out of your pocket for your healthcare coverage in 1 year. So ultimately, reality, right? You're not going to be in that skilled nursing facility for up to day 43, because you didn't just like wind up there. You generally had to go to the doctor, the specialist. You probably were in the hospital. You got to be in the hospital 2-3 days to qualify for skilled nursing in the first place. All those copays qualify toward your $3,400. So ultimately, you're probably going to be closer to, say, 30 days that you're going to be hitting your out-of-pocket maximum in that situation. But the point is, for mathematical reasons, they have to put it in this way. Outpatient surgery, colonoscopy, cataract surgeries. You go in, you have surgery, come home the same day. Outpatient surgery, $250. Pay your flat rate. Whatever happens after that is the insurance company pays for 100% of it. Only responsible for as you use the services. All right. Pay as you go. Pay as you go insurance. The difference between this and your option one is you don't have to worry about any copays. Everything's covered. You can go to any doctor, any specialist. On this, you have some copays. You've got some moving parts. A little bit more to understand, but for ultimately somebody that's turning 65 and getting onto this plan is, hey, I'm taking good care of myself. I'm good to go. You know, I work out every day. You know what? An Advantage plan probably be terrific for you. Work out great.
Okay, for supplement, to understand, there's, like for an app, there's nothing out of pocket ever?
Yeah, for your medical cost, 100%. Whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, your supplement plan picks up. Yep. Now, yeah, so I mean, the point is, it has to be, so the question is there anything F doesn't pay for? And basically, if it's a Medicare covered expense, whatever Medicare doesn't pay for, your plan F picks up, right? So it's kind of a catch-all, but you have to do things that, we'll get this once in a while. I had somebody that was getting this acid reflux thing, right? And so there's this surgery that they're doing in Canada, and he wanted to get it done here. It was going to be $16,000, and he wanted a supplement plan to pick it up because it's not Medicare approved yet in this country. Said, sorry, Charlie, you know, you're out of pocket because whatever Medicare has to approve it first has to be Medicare covered expense, and your supplement plan will then pick it up. So, yep. So with this, you have your copays, you have your benefits, you have your things that are going along. So your ambulance, outpatient surgery, that's probably the biggest thing. Kind of halfway down your page is your outpatient, ambulance, emergency room, and urgent care. Those three right there. Put a circle around those three. If you get a chance, put your circle around those three. So your ambulance, emergency room, urgent care, worldwide coverage. Worldwide coverage. So what happens is, what happens if I'm traveling, right? I know this is, my doctor is here in San Diego and I have to see my primary doctor, and what happens if, so what happens is, if you're traveling, you have worldwide coverage, ambulance, emergency room, and urgent care. So your ambulance in this case, $250. Here's a question. Does the ambulance cover air ambulance, helicopter? If you have to be life flighted out, does that be covered? Is that covered? It is covered. Yeah. So what happens is a lot of your customers are out on a cruise ship. You got a cruise ship and all of a sudden, oh, I'm doing so much cruising, I have a heart attack and I get airlifted off. So is that covered? 100%. Yeah. So they're not going to take you for a sightseeing trip. They're going to take you straight to the next hospital, drop you off, and you pretty much got to find your way home. But you are covered. Other plans out there don't cover it. It's one of those little hidden expenses that they don't always see in a spreadsheet. A lot of people come up and they go, hey, there's a $10 copay for my primary doctor. I think I'm going to go with this other plan, blue crap, whatever, because it's only $5 here. I could save $5 to go see my doctor, not realizing that maybe air ambulance isn't covered on a Blue Shield plan or a Kaiser plan. Or maybe it's covered on a Kaiser plan, but it's $3,500. Or they only cover 20%. Well, 20% of what, right? So I met this guy. How are we doing for time? I don't want to start telling stories yet. Oh, okay, we're doing good. Okay, so I met this guy. I was sitting at my local watering hole, and the guy said, he's sitting there having a beer, and all of a sudden he gets up and he leaves. He leaves his beer and his stuff and glasses and crap all sitting on the counter. I was like, that's kind of weird. Thought he went to the bathroom, but he's actually walked outside and he's up. Okay, well, that's kind of weird. So anyway, I saw him come back in, maybe smoke break. Nope, didn't smell like smoke. So I said, is everything okay? Thought maybe you're sick or something. And he goes, no, my knee locks up. And if I don't get up and move it and run, it locks up. So I have to like keep moving it like once an hour. I got to get up and do this. And I thought, well, he's kind of older. I said, well, didn't your Medicare? He goes, yeah, but I have to pay the 20% and I just can't afford it. Huh, guess what I do? So anyway, point was, he's on Medicare, but he couldn't afford an advance or didn't afford a supplement plan, is because he understood it, because that was going to be really expensive. And so what happened was, before he got onto Medicare, he had a heart attack, and they took him to the Poway Pomerado Hospital. And they said, oh, you're beyond us. We're gonna airlift you to Escondido, to the Palomar Hospital. So they called for an ambulance to airlift him. And again, Poway and Escondido are like, what, 9 miles apart, 10 miles apart, right? His son said, okay, Dad, I'll meet you there. He went downstairs, got in his car, drove to the hospital, and was there before his dad actually made it in the helicopter. $25,000 they charged him for that helicopter ride, 10 miles, 25 grand. Didn't have insurance, 25 grand cleaned him out. So he didn't have a whole lot of money, but whatever money he had saved up for that one stupid ride, he could have jumped in with his son and just drove him to the hospital, but they airlifted him without insurance. 25 grand it cost him. So he couldn't get his knee done because he didn't have the money to pay the 20% for the Medicare. So anyway, long story short, sign him up on an Advantage plan. So the point was, you'll meet these people that are out there, and as an educator, you can help them make their lives better. So you can also protect them by learning what plans work and what little pitfalls these people have. Another biggest thing that happens, especially this time of year, is all this crap comes out in a spreadsheet. And you'll see it. You'll see it on this Medicare and Me. The book, Medicare actually puts this thing out. And it's like an Excel spreadsheet of all these different companies. And you look at the spreadsheet and it looks like this. And they go across line by line. They go, oh, United's $10. Oh, this one's $5. Oh, this one is $260 a day and my plan's $255, right? So $5 cheaper across the board. And they go, okay, I'm going to go with this plan because it's cheaper, right? I'm going to get a cheaper plan. I mean, first of all, don't get me started, but ultimately, it pisses me off when people do this, because why would you come to your healthcare and get the cheapest piece of crap you can find when ultimately it's your healthcare? Your health insurance is what you need. Did you drive here in a car, the cheapest piece of crap you could find, or did you get something that was decent and reliable and something you can count on, right? So what happens is these people get this cheap piece of crap plan, and then they come to find out that when they get into it, that the medicine that they're taking on the United plans, a tier 3, and the medicine on their cheap piece of crap plan is a tier 4. And so they had to pay an extra $700 that year for that extra drug tier level that they had no idea. They never looked at it. All they're trying to do is save $5 in their primary doctor. And they go to their doctor 3 times a year. So they save $15 and it cost them $700 in extra drug cost. So what happens is, moral of the story is, when you think you're getting a good deal and these little fly-by-night companies are out there, is there somewhere else inside they're going to get it back from you. And usually you pay for it is when you need your insurance the most. So moral story. So do what's right for your customer, step up, do quality work for these guys. If they want to go by fly-by-night, let them buy it from somebody else. There is. So in San Diego, so there's different PPO plans in Minnesota and Orange County and San Diego. So PPO, you can go anywhere. You have in-network and out-of-network. The out-of-network are 40% of the cost and a max out-of-pocket at $10,000. See, in this plan, $3,400 is your max out-of-pocket. On a PPO type plan, out-of-network is $10,000. So it gets pretty expensive. At that point, why would you just step up and get a supplement plan, pay the little extra money, and not have to worry about getting hammered for a $10,000 out-of-pocket loss? So it gives you more flexibility. But here in San Diego, and I know we got people online, but I'm telling you, San Diego doesn't really work because the PPO plan, there's only one. It's Aetna PPO, and it doesn't work because they could have an in-network doctor and then an out-of-network hospital. Or you could have an in-network doctor, and then the doctor runs a lab test on you, and the lab test goes to an out-of-network lab service. And so you got in-network fees and out-of-network fees, and the stuff's coming in the bills, and you can't keep it all straight. And so if it was all nice and clean, that's one thing, but they got this network, but they don't have that. They got scripts this, but they don't have scripts that. It was just confusing. And so it doesn't really work. So, but in other parts of the country, you go back to Minnesota, for example. So the United Healthcare has in Minnesota, there's like 8 different medical groups back there. United has 7 of the 8. The one they don't have is really the biggest one. So if you don't have to have Mayo Clinic, then any of those other 7, you can go to any doctor, any specialist, anywhere in the network, works great. So point is, if we had that here, we could make that work. They don't. It's so chopped up here in San Diego.
Kaiser, they advertise all the time 5 stars.
Yep. So the question is Kaiser. So Kaiser
is a great deal. 5 stars. It's an advantage plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to get an idea why.
Yep. So Kaiser, question is, Kaiser's 5-star, looks terrific. Why would I go anywhere but Kaiser? So Kaiser is a closed network. They don't play with anybody else. So question, remember our option, right? Our option 1, any doctor, any specialist, any hospital anywhere in the country, except for Kaiser. Because Kaiser only accept Kaiser plans. The only way you'd get into a Kaiser hospital with a supplement plan is if you had an accident right out in front of their hospital. They'd take you in and get you stabilized, and they would transfer you out to a different hospital. So only in emergency situations. You have to be part of their network. Now, all their doctors and specialists, and they're all employees. They'll keep everything in-house. If they, yeah, the thing about it, they don't play with anybody else. They're a closed network. So you have to be Kaiser, Kaiser, Kaiser. And you better hope that when you get sick, that the Kaiser has the best doctors, because you can't go anywhere else, right? You got cancer and you want to go to the Mayo Clinic? Sorry, Charlie, can't go anywhere because you're a Kaiser. So you got to stay within the Kaiser system. Honestly, only certain parts of the country. Honestly, Kaiser's good until you get sick. Yep, and then you got problems, right? And I hate saying that. I hate saying it online, but I got to tell you, from years of experience and people I've dealt with that have been through it, and you could do agents that I've worked with that had their customers. I mean, they would get diagnosed with cancer and they'd go, Okay, let's just look at it for 6 months and see what it looks like then. You come back in 6 months, well, it's spread, so now there's nothing we can do about it. 'Cause it's like, well, why didn't we do something 6 months ago? And that kind of stuff. They don't want to spend the money because it hurts their this and that, So, I mean, it's just, ultimately, I think there's going to be changes there. But Kaiser, they got that 5-star, right? But they don't really report anybody because everybody's in-house. So if anything comes up, they just kind of keep on the low T. So anyway, how are we doing for time? You got 5 minutes, finish up. All right, so let's move on. So generic drugs on this kind of plan, the drug plan is built in versus your Advantage plan has built-in drugs. Your option one, you have separate drugs. All right, so you have separate drug plans. Here in San Diego, 27 separate drug plans to choose from. So it's all about where you have. Now, if you get these plans, drug plans built in, nice about the United plan, tier 1s and 2s are generics. So in this one, you have 5 different tier levels. Tier 1s and 2s are generics. Tier 3s and 4s are your brand name drugs. Tier 5 is your specialty kidney and rejection drugs, right? So tier 1s and 2s on this, if you go through the mail order service, your generics are free. If you go through brand 3 and 4, if you go through your standard pharmacy, which is basically everybody, $47 a month or $100 a month. Remember that scenario that I gave you where the drug was a tier 3 level here, and it was a tier 4 at the other one. They went with the other one because they're saving $5 in their primary. Well, look at the difference. Tier 3 level medicine, is $47. A tier 4 level is $100 a month. So you get on a different carrier not realizing that the drug that you're taking, you never went through the formulary and picked out the drug. You're just looking at the front page that everybody looks at and says, here's your primary, here's your specialist, here's your hospital. Hey, look at this. I'm going to go with this guy because I'm $5 cheaper, not realizing they just screwed themselves on their drugs because they never looked at the different formularies. So what happens in these kind of plans is they make it pretty here, and they take it back from you somewhere else, right? They're all pretty similar. It's like going to Texaco or going to Mobile for getting your gas, right? All of a sudden, this one guy is $1 less than everybody else out there. Better ask yourself why, because they kind of come from about the same. All these guys pretty much get reimbursed about the same from Medicare. So they're kind of offering the same kind of benefits. So if you got one guy that's like giving it better deal here, generally he's got to get that money back from you somewhere else.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. They told me they work with Costco, and so Costco's a drug that's a tier 3. It's a lot cheaper just even walking in without medical coverage.
Silver Scripts is a standalone drug plan, Part D only, right? So if you're going with a supplement plan, you can go with Silver Scripts as Part D. She writes a ton of Silver Scripts, right? So that's a great little Part D drug plan to go with. If you're going with a Advantage plan, option 2 is you have to go with the drug plan that's built in as part of your package, all right? Okay, so let's move on. So enrollment kits, plan 4, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. The difference is a SHARP plan has certain medical groups. Plan 4 has a different medical groups. We'll go over it more next week. So different copays, essential plan. Basically, you got 3 plans in San Diego. 3 I want you to think about. So you have the SHARP plan to get you to all your SHARP doctors. Easy. Plan 4 gets you to the other 9, 10 networks that United Healthcare has. United Healthcare has 10 different networks of doctors. SHARP, Scripps, Arch Health Partners, Cassidy Medical Group, Tri-City, Mercy Physician. Anyway, the plan 4 is kind of a catch-all to get you to all of them. Few higher copays, has some transportation, has some extra benefits. SHARP plan doesn't have transportation, but has lower copays. And then the final one is this essential plan. Essential plan is nice in that it doesn't come with drug coverage. So you would use that for our military guys. Here in San Diego, you'll come into a lot of people that have VA coverage. They're in the military. They get their drugs from the VA. The VA is considered credible drug coverage. So they don't need to have a drug plan if they do not wish. They don't have to pay for one. So their Medicare plan can come with just the medical side and then get their drugs from the VA. So the essential plan is an important one to have. They can, but then you have to be around a VA to have coverage. So if you're living in somewhere, yeah, and they get backlogged, or you're in the middle of Timbuktu and something happens, you don't have ambulance, you don't have the nearest urgent care, you don't have any of that stuff. It's all out of network, right? All right. So with that, highlights in the essential plan, we'll go through that later. So basically what I want you to do is we're going to work on our database. We're going to work on our proc training. And next week, we're going to have a test on this stuff. So we're going to get everybody that's online. I have a list of all you guys. I know who's here, who's paying attention. Bob Shade pays attention. He's got the 19 Clarity book. They got Margarita in the front. Who's in the front? Here, hand this here. Here, come on up so everybody can see you. All right, this is Bob Shade, Shady Lanes.
Oh, sorry, headset's on.
Right there. You're watching
There we are.
in camera. Everybody see you. All right, so here's your new 2019. These just come in?
Yeah, they came into my house Saturday.
Oh, well, let's go to your house and party. All right,
Yeah,
so
I got 250 of these.
nice.
So these have the updated Part D plan numbers.
Oh, good. Yep. So we're going to go through that. Yep, next
We
week.
can go through this next.
Yeah, so there's the old ones. Here's the new one. So we're going to need to cover this more next month or next week. So anyway, we're going to get everything mailed out. I want you to study your local option 2. So your local option 2. So your leaders, whether it's Sherry Rutherford, whether it's Denise Merrill, Kevin Kay, Ruth Page, get with your groups and go over your individual local HMO plan so they have those copays down. So we can go back and test on those next week. Yeah, for the San Diego, you're going to need to know the Plan 4 and the Sharp Plan. Plan 4 and Sharp Plan. We'll email it out to you, but here, you guys are going to need to know the Sharp Plan and Plan 4 next week. You're going to need to know the difference between the Fabulous Plan, the Great Plan, and the Nice Plan. You have to explain to me the difference and not read it off a page. Because when you're sitting with the customer, basically this book is upside down, and you're doing this thing upside down in front of a customer. So learn how to do your presentation upside down. So you're gonna have to know this stuff inside out, backwards, upside down, right? Because this is how you present. You present like this, boom, 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 in front of your customer sitting at their kitchen table. So you're gonna have to be able to do that. So other than that, that's where we are. So we're basically a quarter of the way through our trainings. So at this point, we're gonna know our subjects and what we're gonna do. Next week, we're going to work on our questions that we're going to ask. I know we talked to Bob Rothenbuehler back in Minnesota that I was going to go through that today, but we kind of ran out of time. But we're going to work on what do you do when you get somebody on the phone? What questions do you ask? Is it important to know whether or not they've turned their Medicare on already? How about if they're going to draw on their Social Security? What if they're going to work past the age of 65? Are these things that are important to know? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it all depends on, you make decisions on their answers, kind of decides where you're going to go next with that. So anyway, that's what we have for this week, and I will see you next week.
Push on the